How's it going, legends? It's Wednesday, January 20th. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. I am guest hosting for Dave. I guest host on Wednesdays now. And if you are new or you are just joining us for the first time, maybe, welcome in. What I'd love for you to do, for those of you who are just joining, I'm going to give everybody sort of a second to tune in. But what I'd love for you to do is tell us where you're tuning in from. Let me know. This community is a little bit different than what you might find elsewhere online. But I and our team, we try to actually get to know faces and names. And, sometimes I know what it's like to join a new community. And I know, because I'm pretty introverted, I know what it's like to join a new community and sort of worry or wonder, do people even know who I am? Or, for me as an introvert, I didn't really care. I didn't want people to know me. But I found that as I got to be known, it was meaningful. So we try to create that too. Arturo, what's up? I am from South Dakota, not North, but I think South is a little bit better than North Dakota, but that's just me. Illinois is in the house. And the other cool part about sharing where you're from is you get to see that there's just people all over the world. Phoenix, California, St. Petersburg, Florida, Texas, North Carolina, Maryland, just all over. Shanghai, Montreal, Akron, Ohio, Jersey. Colton, good to see you, man. Texas, we've got the whole squad in here. Chile, South Florida. All right, Shauna, you can't go Chile, South Florida. I'm in Phoenix, so it's a little chilly, but I get it. Once you've lived like in a southern climate for a little while, you get like 60 degrees and you're like, man, this is brutal. I've got my coffee today. I'm sipping on a this is a coffee from Kenya, I think. It's pretty good coffee. Hey, if you're new or if you're just joining us, lots of people have just tuned in. My name's Matt. If you don't know me, I'm the CMO here at Legendary. Welcome in. We're pumped to have you here live with us. If you're watching as a replay, let us know in the comments where you're tuning in from. You can see in the comments, they just blew up there that with just lots of people from all over the world tuning in. So, hey, if you guys can hear me okay, is my microphone okay? I just wanted to do a little quick mic check. If you can hear me just fine, can you hit the thumbs up or the like on this video? It just, what it does is when I see those go up, it just makes sure that everybody can hear me just fine. And there's no issues with my mic. Sometimes I select the wrong microphone or whatever. So there we go. All right, good. I think we've got good audio coming through. So, well, hey, welcome in. I'm pumped that you guys are here. Pumped that you made it. We had a little bit of a mix up with our guest today. So we had a guest that was scheduled. We just mixed up the dates. So there was a mix up there. So I'm here, I'm live. And it happens, but when it happens, we call an audible. And so, I was just sitting here and thinking, what's something really meaningful, or what's something that, I think that I could share that might be helpful to some people. So what I thought, would be interesting or helpful, sometimes, all right, so there's a lot of people here. There's people here certainly who have been in our community for a while. Then there's other people here who are live with us today who are brand new to our community, don't know who I am, don't know what to expect on this kind of thing. So what I thought would be helpful is I could share a little bit about my failures and sort of why those failures came about. Because one of the best parts about any sort of community is when you can learn from other people's past failures, also successes, right? Like when people go online and they start looking at YouTube videos, one thing that they do is they'll type something in like, how do I make money online? Or how do I sell my digital course? Or how do I offer coaching on weight loss or whatever, right? And what they try to do is they try to take the formula of somebody else and sort of use it themselves, and that's a good and valid thing to do. But one thing that a lot of people downplay or don't take advantage of is listening to the past failures or hearing out past failures and learning from those. So in order to do that, I kind of want to take you back. So when I grew up, I'm gonna walk you through just really briefly a little bit of my childhood and a little bit of my temperament. I think that that's a key piece to this whole thing. And I know a lot of people in this space and in this industry have a similar temperament, similar kind of personality as me. I'm very introverted. And I said that the other day on a webinar, on our mastermind call. We had a mastermind a couple weeks ago. I said that, and this lady who was on there, I can't remember her name, Sandra maybe, or something like that. She literally was just like, there's no way you're an introvert. There's no chance. And she wasn't getting on TikTok. She wasn't creating videos because she was like, well, I'm introverted. And then lo and behold, there was like 3 of us, Austin Becker, who's a huge TikTok personality, Dave, and myself. We all said like, yeah, we're all introverts. Because introversion isn't, are you charismatic? Introversion is what energizes me, what gives me energy. Is it that I'm talking to people all day and I feel energized and I'm alive, or is it I'm talking to people all day and I want to go crawl in a hole and hide? Right? So for me, it's the opposite. I'm now a little bit more balanced. I think the more time that you spend talking to people on meetings, on Zoom calls, on just whatever, you sort of you get past that, and it sort of balances itself out. You know, actions create sort of a new pathway in your brain that just you function differently. But when I was growing up, here's an interesting little backstory for me. So I had a pretty stable upbringing, but what I want you to hear is when I was growing up, very stable household. I lived in the same house for 18 years, never got in trouble with drugs, never really got in trouble with alcohol or anything like that, not in trouble with the law, like pretty cleaned up little Baptist kid, right? And but one interesting thing in terms of my temperament is I always had this sense that I was the black sheep. I always had this internal sense that I just didn't fit, or that I was out of place. If there's anybody who's ever felt that, like, I just don't quite fit with the crowd, with the normal people. Something, if that's you, give me a why. Give me a why in the comments. And I just mostly just want to know that it's not just me. But my therapy and a lot of reading and a lot of conversations have already taught me that I know that it's not me. I know there's lots of people here who also feel that same way. But I've never, ever, ever felt like that. I've never, ever felt like and I just meant the letter Y, like yes. Sorry, I didn't clarify. Yeah. And Kings is, yeah, that can be a big thing with culture or speaking a certain language, stuff like that. Yes, being biracial was tough growing up. Yeah, square peg, round hole. Bingo. Ashley, you nailed it. So the reason, though, that I didn't really have a good reason to feel that way. I was a pretty normal kid. I was, I don't know. I don't know. I was smart at school. I was good at athletics. I kind of had everything. So I was a little bit, in terms of the black sheep, I was a little bit of an anomaly. I wasn't like I don't know. It just wasn't, it didn't really make a lot of sense. But here's the thing. Had loving parents, but here's the kicker. Is I always had a sense that I was doing something wrong, or that there was something wrong with me. There's a difference between being a black sheep and feeling positive about that versus feeling like a black sheep and feeling like there's something wrong with me. there's something off about me, right? And what happened was, okay, so I didn't have anybody tell me that, but I had people sort of micromanage my decisions. I had people sort of put this sense of that on me with silence. Okay. So it wasn't active words, it was passive silence. So for instance, I would play basketball. I was super competitive, loved playing basketball, still do. Before the pandemic, I played an hour or two every single day at my LA Fitness down here. Most of those guys are most of those guys are like Black or Latino, way more athletic than me. I'm pretty athletic, but those guys, like, look, they say white men can't jump for a reason, right? And I love playing with guys who are just freak athletes because, you know, it puts me in my place, but it also raises my, like, I'm a guy where you put me on a court with people who aren't quite as good, and I sort of play to my competition sometimes. That's a little bit of a downfall of me, but put me on a court with a lot of great guys, and suddenly, like, I know I've got to show up, right? I've got to show up, show out. So, so anyway, I have this, let me take you to about 5th, 6th grade. And I remember losing. So these are the moments that stand out to me. I'm the youngest child, but both of my siblings are, both my siblings are half, half siblings, or we have different dads. So, so basically, when I would play basketball and I would lose in a tournament, right? My parents, who were at every tournament, they took off work to be at every basketball, baseball game, track meet. I could count on one hand the amount of times my dad was not at one of my sporting events, which isn't something that every kid gets the luxury of. So I understand that. But the one thing that they didn't understand was emotional availability, right? So I lose a tournament, right? And we get to the championship game. I remember this. This is probably 6th, 7th grade. I was super young. And we lose in the championship game, and we're on the car ride home, right? And this is, as many of you can imagine, I'm sure many of you are great parents. This is a great opportunity for a parent to say, hey, look, kid, look, son, you're going to lose in life. It's okay. You're going to be okay. You didn't do anything wrong, but you lost. And your team, on this day, for whatever reason, you weren't as good as the other team. That's how it goes, right? And you can be mad about it. You can be angry. And you've got to look, at some point in life, you've got to learn to channel that into positive sort of reinforcement for yourself. So let's go to the gym and let's shoot 100 shots and let's take back that power, right? Let's, whatever, let's talk it out. Why are you so mad? What happened in the game, right? And that's a great opportunity for a parent to parent their kid, right? But instead, we had an hour-long ride home and no one spoke. No one spoke. So what a kid with my temperament of sort of, I'm the black sheep and I'm doing something wrong, when a kid has that and then they're fed silence, right? What do? They project all of that onto this moment, meaning I'm sitting in the back seat as a 13, 12, 13-year-old, whatever, thinking to myself, oh, this is all my fault, right? This is all my fault. Think of all the things I should have done better. And then what happens is over time, that behavior compounds. So it happens again, it happens again, it happens again. And whenever I'm unruly or angry or upset, it's fed with silence because they don't know how to deal with that. That's an emotion that they don't know how to. They learned from their parents, who learned from their parents, that when you get angry, you shut it down. You don't talk about it. You don't address it. You shut it down, right? So it emphasizes Well, it emphasizes a feeling of shame, not guilt. Guilt and shame are different. Guilt is I did something bad. Shame is I'm bad, right? I had shame. Guilt is, there's healthy sort of, that maybe there's healthy both guilt and shame, but there's definitely more healthy guilt. Shame is a little bit more tricky. Shame says, guilt says I did something wrong. Shame says there's something wrong with me. See how unhealthy that is? See how just unhealthy that is? It's brutal for a kid to feel and experience that, right? But so what happened is those compounded. Now, I don't need to spend an eternity talking about my childhood, but that's sort of what bred this whole thing. Andy, yes, we're here live, my man. You made it. So I come into now my college years and I get married pretty young, and boom, I hear about this thing called digital marketing. I hear about the way that people are going online and using skills to generate income, whether that's through an ads agency, whether it's through affiliate marketing, Amazon. At the time, back in 2011, it was eBay was big. So all these people are doing this stuff, right? And here's the lesson that I want to give to you. When I first started, and I just want this to sink in, when I first started, that whole compounding of shame throughout my childhood, over and over and over, it taught me one lesson. And this lesson is I think, interesting. The lesson that I learned was that I shouldn't trust my intuition, that there's something wrong with me and that my gut is probably wrong, okay? My gut is probably wrong, okay? Now, there's a healthy amount of self-doubt or self-evaluation where when I feel something, I think I should reflect on it. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is when I feel like strongly about, hey, I know that I'm skilled at this. I have web design skills. I can put up a website or a sales funnel. I can figure out advertising. For me, it was, well, but all of this stuff. And it created a hesitancy. It created a slowness. So everything I would try, the first thing that I ever tried online was actually high ticket affiliate marketing, believe it or not, with a travel product, right? And I tried to start selling this. And what it did with everything I tried lots of shiny objects, but what it did is it elongated the failures. So most people, well, I shouldn't say most people, but ideally, you would get into something and fail fast and fail hard. That's what I tell people is fail fast, fail hard, get it over with, move on, right? Fail fast, fail hard, see what you learned. Okay, this didn't work. I need to adjust. I need to change. I need to ask good questions to a community like ours, and I need to figure it out, right? So rather than a failure at high ticket affiliate marketing right away, lasting a month or 2 months, it lasted 3 years, right? It went 3 years because everything was slow. Everything was questioning myself. Should I put an ad up on Craigslist? Well, my perfectionism and self-doubt made me spend 2 months setting up this ad on Craigslist. Or should I place a Facebook ad? Well, I spent, 2 months looking up how to place an ad perfectly on Facebook. And after all of that setup, I ended up launching it, spending $40 and then turning it off because I didn't know what was going on, right? So rather than just, okay, let's just throw it up, hit go, see what happens, see how it goes, learn and move on and trust my gut, it ended up elongating a failure for a super long period of time. I mean, we're talking years and years of time. Like that whole project, that whole thing ended up dragging out 5 years. 5 years. Okay. And what I want you to learn, or what I learned, I don't need to put on you a learning lesson, but what I learned from that, what I took away from that was that specific sort of wiring of my brain, I'm trying to get this on the screen, that wiring of my brain needed to sort of be undone. It needed to be rewired, right? And so what I started to learn was, look, I can, with the help of a community, with the help of an advisor or a mentor, I can sort of start to identify what business model might work for me, what I'm skilled at, or what I'm capable of learning, right? Maybe not what I'm skilled at today, but what am I capable of learning and figuring out? All right. And how can I do that the fastest way possible? So that led me to starting an ads agency and also doing high ticket affiliate marketing and also doing coaching and consulting. And I did that for long enough. And what I did is, so here's what I did. One of the first things I did after I started to learn a lot of these skills, I started to learn how to place Facebook ads. I threw out a job application to 20 different places. I heard back from like one of them. I learned a little bit from throwing that out. And then what I decided was, you know what, screw that. I'm going to go start my own thing. So what did I do? I went out, started my own ads agency. I just set up a one-page website, basically had no information on it, and I started cold emailing. I got multiple clients right here in Phoenix. All right. And I was pretty new to Facebook ads. But here's the thing. If you're newer to Facebook ads and you've launched a Facebook ad campaign, odds are if you learn from somebody who knows what they're doing, you're going to give those local businesses a heck of a lot better results than anywhere else. So I signed up one guy, $500 a month, signed up another $300 a month. This was just me trying to figure it out, right? So suddenly I'm at $800 a month and I'm running ads for them and they're starting to see their businesses slowly growing. And they can't believe that suddenly somebody they actually hired is getting them results. Because what most local small businesses do is they pay people who are just social media marketing managers, and all they do is post to Instagram and they don't run any ads. So it doesn't really have any sort of growth. There's nothing really happening. And so once they actually start to see leads and sales coming from this, they're blown away. They're completely blown away. And I hadn't been running a lot of Facebook ads before I did this. But I did it because I learned to trust my gut. I said to myself, look, I can get these people results. And if I don't, and I told these people straight up, hey, look, I've never run ads for a fitness instructor. I sat down at a meeting. I said, hey, I haven't done it. I feel confident I can do it, but I haven't done it. Worst case scenario is you're out a few $100, but I think that I can get you leads. And that very same week we launched Facebook ads. He got his first couple leads, people signing up for a $100 package of personal fitness, and off we were to the races. Okay, so why do I share all of that? That all happened in a span of about 2 weeks of when I sat down, I launched some Facebook ads. I said, hey, you know what? I've run a good bit of Facebook ads. I think I can help somebody with this. I think I could launch this for a local business here, narrow it down to the Phoenix area and just hit the ground running with some local businesses. Let's try it out. And I just hit the ground running and I sold myself up front. And I said, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, but I'm going to just go for it. And I got a lot of clients. So the lesson that I learned initially in my life was, don't trust your gut. Don't trust your instinctual sort of, all right, I got this. I can figure this out. I can figure this out, right? It doesn't mean this is going to be perfect or this is the end all be all. But hey, on this piece, I can figure this out. Other people have done it. I know that I have, at least enough experience. I have figured it out up until this point, and I haven't had that many issues. I can probably figure this one out. And so that same thing happened in coaching, consulting. That's how I got here with Dave. We linked up in 2018, so over 2 years ago, through a mutual friend, and we hopped on a call, and I basically just said like, hey, I don't know if I can actually deliver for you. Let's try it out for a month. I think that I remember saying when we first met, I just remember saying, hey, look, I I can see that your values align with my values. I have worked hard over the last 10 years to build a lot of skills and be a utility player. I know a lot of stuff, and I think we could crush this. I think we could kill it. And the attitude of I can figure this out, I can navigate these waters, I take that with everything. And I'll tell you what, in the middle of that moment, right, in the middle of I don't have it figured out, but I can figure it out, I'll tell you, I still deal with the self-doubt. I still deal with anxiety beyond a lot. I mean, I deal with a lot of internal anxiety, but at the end of the day, I take a deep breath, right? I'm a big into breathing. I take a deep breath. I say, look, everything, I'll wrap with this. Everything in my life that I have made out to be a huge thing, right? Everything that I thought was going to be a massive deal has turned out to not be that massive. Like everything that I built up to be like, oh my gosh, how am I going to get out of this? I've had so many moments where at the end of the month, I wasn't sure if I could even pay rent. At the end of the month, like going to the grocery store and we have like $14 in our bank account. And I'm like, okay, I can put like $5 of gas in, right? And throughout all of that, I just thought, man, like everything felt so heavy. But if I can make it out of that, or if I can make it through that, look, these little tiny business problems are nothing. They're nothing. And I'll get through them. And they feel in the moment huge. They feel in the moment like it's super overwhelming. But you'll get through it. Just like you have every single other big problem that you've ever had in your life. You'll get through it, right? You guys get that? Does that resonate? Just type to me in the comments. Does that make, like, you guys can all think, we can all sit here and type out, or you don't have to type them out, but like you guys can all think of moments throughout your life where you've thought like, how am I ever going to get past this? I don't see a way out. But here you are sitting wherever you're at, walking, driving, sitting, whatever, listening to me right now today. And you're past those moments. There's some of them that still exist today and you're filled with anxiety about. But look, the reality is something will happen, something will change, right? And the experience will shift and it won't seem quite as bad. It always happens. It always happens, right? So what does that mean for today? What does that mean for right here, right now, right? Margarita, very vulnerably says, I'm in that moment right now. That moment is usually when you're on the brink of something big. That moment is usually when you're on the brink of something important or meaningful. Okay, so be in the moment. Don't escape the moment. Be in the moment. Journaling is one big thing that really helped me through a lot of those moments. I would write down feelings. I would write down emotions. And now I kind of go back and look back at them and laugh, and they're funny. A lot of times they're funny. They're like, wow, can you imagine how big of a deal I made that? Right. And it helps you sort of, when you remember well, it helps you sort of get through future things easier and with less stress and with less anxiety, and it helps you move forward in business, relationships, life. So that's all I've got, guys. That's what I wanted to share with you guys today. And thanks for the comments. I appreciate those. I always see those. I'm going to let you guys go and have a great rest of your Wednesday. If you guys don't already know, you can text Wake Up Legendary. What you'll text is the letters WUL to the number on the screen, 813-296-8553. And what we do is we send out a text message every time we go live in the morning. So if you never want to miss these again, you can simply text from your phone, WUL, 813-296-8553. You'll get a text message, 10 a.m. Eastern, every Monday through Friday. It'll just say, hey, here's what we're talking about. We've got a great guest on. Tap this little thing and join us live. So you can text that, and let's have a great Wednesday, guys. Let's have a great Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Dave has a great interview lined up tomorrow, and on Friday we've got awesome guests planned. So let's rock it. Let's have a great Wednesday. We'll see you guys tomorrow.